welcome back to Travelling Box with me, Tanya, on this really cold Monday. Hands up if, like me, you had to de-ice your car this morning. Boy, that was cold. I could have done without it, I tell you. Anyway, so yes, I'm back in the kitchen. It's a Monday, and Mondays always mean that after I go shopping, I get a little bit excited about ingredients. And I had planned this week to do an egg fried rice and video that, because that's a perfect meal for the caravan. However, I was walking around the supermarket and I always get a little bit excited in the vegetable aisle. I love fresh vegetables, and you know, I spy something and then my mind goes, wow. Today's excitement was the humble aubergine. I don't know why, but I saw these aubergines and they just look so nice. Yeah, I bought aubergines, and then I remembered a conversation I was having with my dear friend Debbie last week or the week before about moussaka, and I haven't made a moussaka for years. Not since I stopped eating meat, actually. I don't think my son has ever had a moussaka. So that's something I'm going to rectify today, because it's not something I've made for a very, very long time. But I'm going to make a moussaka using lentils, because I bought some red split lentils months ago and just haven't used them. So I figured I may as well use those today, because a lentil moussaka is really nice. But as ever, it's my own version of a moussaka. And this is an ideal meal to pre-cook, pre-prepare, just like we did for the lasagna. Because it's quite a convoluted cook to prepare, but a moussaka is brilliant for freezing, just like the lasagna is. It's amazing. So make loads of it and then freeze it in portion sizes, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. So the ingredients that we have, well, you've already seen the aubergines and the lentils, onion, courgettes, tin chopped tomatoes, potatoes, garlic, oregano, cinnamon, honey, milk and cheese, and various cheeses. Because I don't do a roux. I always like cheese sauce. This is why a vegan I shall not be. I love cheese too much. So yes, that's what I'm going to attempt to do today, and I'll take you with me as I try to remember step by step how to make a moussaka. Okay, so that's all of the veg prepared. That's the aubergine sliced to around about centimetre thickness, and I've done it crossways rather than lengthways, just because that's how I like it. That's been drizzled in olive oil and lightly seasoned with salt. I've chopped up the potatoes, a rough number of potatoes, 5, 6 or 7, depends on the size of potatoes. But again, I've chopped those up into 1 centimetre thickness. I've chopped the 3 garlic cloves, the onion, and the courgette has been chopped into around about centimetre thicknesses, but chopped in half as well, just because that's how I like it. So that's all of the veg prepped. So now I'm going to pop the aubergines into the oven, which is preheated at around about 180. The potatoes are going to go on the boil, and I'm going to fry the onions and garlic before adding in the rest of the ingredients for the tomato-based sauce. onions. I don't know why I bothered putting mascara on. It's all come off. Every time. Anyway, once we've got the onions just starting to brown, it's time to add the herbs and spices. The first thing you want to add is about a tablespoon of oregano. Around about a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And around about a teaspoon of honey. Then add the courgettes. And then season with salt and pepper. Now it might seem an odd combination to some, but I promise you oregano and cinnamon, the smell coming off of this is just absolute heaven. Really gorgeous combination and works so well with this dish. So yeah, you mix them together and just fry them until the courgettes soften. So around about 3 to 4 minutes. And once they're soft, you can add both tins of chopped tomatoes. Once you've added the tomatoes, you can add the lentils. Now I've got dried red split lentils here, just because they're the ones that I prefer. But then I buy them and I forget to make stuff with them. So today's the day. You want around about 100 grams, which is a fifth of this packet. I can never be bothered to weigh, so I just tip roughly a fifth of the packet in, because that's a 500 gram packet. Mix it all together, and then you can happily leave that to simmer whilst the potatoes are boiling. The aubergines are in the oven. They need around about 20 minutes, and then it's time to assemble. Now whilst I stand here over the stove watching my food with mouth watering, I just wanted to say something, and that is to thank everybody who subscribes to our channel and watches our videos, even though we can't travel at the moment, and so we've changed tack a lot, and we're now cooking, which is a far cry from travelling in Frankie as you can get. But it keeps me sane, and it's something I really enjoy, and it's become a lovely little hobby of mine to share my recipes and cooking style with you all. And with that in mind, I just wanted to give a shout out to Paul and Steve in Yorkshire, YouTubers Westwood, who on one of our videos last week asked for a shout out because they have been following us since day one, as they bought their caravan just before we bought Frankie, so they've followed a similar journey to us. So, you know, guys, Paul and Steve, that's for you. Thank you for watching all this time, a year now, and it's just so lovely that you followed our journey with Frankie, right from making curtains and seat covers to our holidays, and now our cooking endeavours during this strange time of lockdown and everything else. And to each and every one of you who has joined us over the past year and stuck by us and continues to watch. I never thought when we set up this channel that we would get, you know, we've got 520 something subscribers as of today, and that's just so lovely. I didn't think we'd get 12. Outside of my mum and dad, who I'm sure sometimes just watch because they're their daughter and they love me, and mostly they just want to see how their grandson's getting on. And I'm sure the last thing my mum really wants to do is watch me cook, although she does like to know that her grandson's getting a healthy diet. And my dad certainly isn't interested in cooking at all, but they both watch me avidly, and the rest of you who watch all of our videos, you know what, I'm humble that you do, and I'm so grateful, so thank you. Now moussaka, just like the lasagna, is a layered dish, and basically it's a layer of the tomato based sauce. So in our case you've got the tomatoes, courgettes, onions, garlic, lentils, then a layer of the potato slices, a layer of the aubergine, and then a sauce on top, and in my case I like a cheese sauce on top. Now for moussaka, unlike a lasagna, I will make individual portions. So I use these little freezer tubs rather than the big ones, and get 2 out at a time, because that makes the perfect individual portion of moussaka, and there's no need for anything else because there's enough vegetables on this for your 5 a day, there's enough flavour, there's enough of everything, enough protein, fibre, all of the bits that you need. This is a brilliant all-rounder. And as I say, because I can make so many, they'll all go in the freezer and they freeze really well. And then for the caravan, it's as simple as taking it out the morning of travel, popping it in the fridge, and then by the time the evening arrives, it's ready to cook. And it will keep for roughly 2 to 3 days in the fridge before you need to pop it in the oven and cook it. So it doesn't have to be on the night you arrive, although it's a pretty good one for that. But ideal for a busy day when you come back after a long walk, or whatever you do when you're away in your caravan, and we do tend to explore a lot. Come back and then just pop something in the oven which is ready for you that evening. It's kind of ideal. So yes, I will start first by ladling loads of the tomato based sauce into the bottoms of trays before I layer the potatoes and aubergine, and then top it all off with cheese sauce and mozzarella, because the mozzarella really makes it for me for browning that top, just as you'd have seen in our lasagna recipe. So that mixture made 2, 4, 6, 8 individual moussakas, 2 of which are now in my halogen oven. The remaining 6 will go into my freezer, ready for the next time we fancy some aubergines. Yes, they're now going to sit here cooling, but meantime, got a ton of washing up to do, and this is why I don't recommend that this is a meal that's cooked in your caravan but prepared beforehand. It takes way too many pots and pans, and it takes your hob and your oven and everything else, so it's not one for cooking in your caravan. Well, unless you like washing up. Me, not so much. I'd rather do it at home whilst I've got the dishwasher and freeze it. And it's absolutely ideal for that. As I say, it's brilliant for taking from the freezer into a caravan and eating once it's defrosted. Absolutely amazing. Just bung it in the oven. I've got this fresh mixture in the halogen oven at, I don't know, somewhere between 180 and 200, never exact, for about 20 minutes. And the rest of it will go into the freezer and will cook from frozen for 50 minutes. But in the Caravan, as I've said before with the lasagna recipe, I would wait until it's defrosted and then cook it for around about 20 minutes, half an hour in the oven, which saves heaps of gas and is much more cost effective that way, and it's damn tasty. So what do you think?
Good.
Just good?
Delicious.
Anything else? What about the flavours?
Oh, this is creamy.
What do you think that is?
Cheese.
Just cheese?
Cheese sauce.
What else is in there?
Cucumber. I think cucumber. Where is it?
Well, there's courgettes in there,
Yes,
which is
courgette.
those ones that look like cucumber. But that, what do you think that is?
I don't really know.
That's an aubergine.
Oh, aubergine. That's a weird name.
Okay. Don't just eat the cheese sauce. What else is in there?
Potatoes. And I don't know, onions.
Yeah. That's a bit of aubergine.
What is this?
The little red ones?
Yes.
Lentils.
Sorry. Lentils.
Altogether, that's a moussaka, which is layers of usually meaty tomatoey sauce, a bit like you'd get in a lasagna.
But we can't eat it.
Potato, an aubergine, and a white sauce on top.
And seeds of it.
What do you mean seeds?
Like I mean those little brown things.
Well, that's instead of meat.
Oh.
Is it good? What score would you give it?
10. That's because I can. On video.
What about really? Would it still be a 10?
I don't really know. Probably an 8.
Probably an 8. Okay. That's not as good as lasagna.
No.
You would rather have pasta than aubergine.
This? I just find it like it's just a little tough to cut through.
What about taste?
This? Of this? It's alive. To me it tastes plain.
That's why it needs everything else with it, isn't it? That pasta tastes plain without flavours around it, doesn't it?
Yep.
So there we go. This one scores less than a lasagna at an 8 out of 10. You still like it? You still want me to cook it again?
Yep.
Just as well, because we've got 6 more in the freezer.
That's quite a crazy number.
But it's packed full of veggies and vitamins and fibre and protein.
And all the other good stuff.
Very healthy meal.
I do must admit it's healthier than pizza.
Most things are healthier than pizza.
I do enjoy that cheese sauce. I could drink it.
Right. Anything that's cheesy you like, don't you? Anyway, I do plan on doing the egg fried rice this week, so stay tuned, and I will get round to it possibly tomorrow, because I love my egg fried rices. We both do, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
An egg fried rice is something that's so easy to do in the Caravan from scratch, no issues at all. With the added bonus of having a little cheat that makes it a lot easier. But in the meantime, a moussaka is an excellent pre-prepared dinner that's easy to take with you, just as the lasagna is. Ready for a busy day, just pop it in the oven. Individual portions, and it's an amazing filling meal. Anyway, until next time, we love you lots.